Welcome back to another episode of the NCAA Track and Field Show. I'm your host, Gordon Mack, and it's time to dive into the rankings. But before we dive into rankings, be sure to check out our site. We just came off the Penn Relays. We have a lot of awesome content coming out from that meet. We have all the race replays on YouTube and on our website. We got great behind the scenes. You got to check out this cool behind the scenes of the women's 4x15. We got some great interviews. We got some workouts. It's all great. Workout Wednesdays are returning next week. We're going to have a double feature next week for the Workout Wednesdays. So stay tuned for all that. Housekeeping out of order. Now out of order. We're done with the housekeeping. Let's move into the rankings. So this week's rankings, a little bit of some changes. Starting to put a little more emphasis on recency bias, a little more emphasis on what you've done for me lately as opposed to what you've done for me in January of indoor season. So latest rankings, we have Georgia, still the number 1 team. Florida, still the number 2 team. A&T and Texas tied for 3rd. Oregon and Texas tied for 5th. But still close. When you look through those top 6 teams, 43 to 35 points, that's a virtual tie. Swings anyway. There's a lot of teams that are in it on the men's side. Women's side, we got a tie. Literally a tie. Right now, projecting Florida and Texas women to both score exactly 67 points. If that happens, that'll be pretty wild. I'm not sure the last time we've had a tie for first. I think it's happened in the past, but not sure remember. But not only is Florida and Texas projected to tie, Kentucky women, they're moving up. They're still in 3rd, but they're at 60 points, just 7 points back on the backs of Abby Steiner in the 1 and the 2. A&M is hovering around 56, so despite it being really a 2-team battle with Florida and Texas, Kentucky and A&M are definitely, flirting with potentially spoiling the Florida-Texas party, which is basically the teams that won 1-2 in indoor. So no surprise there. Looking at the rankings, though, individually, updated the sprint rankings, the distance, and the field. I'll do a quick highlight, and then we'll talk about the main purpose, which you've probably seen from the headline of this episode. Let's look at some sprint. Let's look at women's 200. Women's 200 right now. I'm going Abby Steiner, 1. Favor O'Philly, 2. Aniva Battle, 3. Adelecki and Flannel, Texas duo, in 4-5. Davis from Kentucky, 6. Owens, A&M, 7. And Melissa Jefferson, 8. We've been talking about this on the podcast. The Steiner and O'Philly battle is going to be the Steiner-O'Philly battle, look, the third is a battle, is going to be very exciting at SECs. It's coming up in a week, about a week after this weekend, next week, to really see what's the real pecking order. I believe the pecking order is Steiner-O'Philly, even though O'Philly has broken the collegiate record. No disrespect there, but when Steiner and O'Philly raced each other's head up at NCAAs, Steiner destroyed her. It wasn't even close. So you have to imagine that's not going anyway, but Steiner, it's not going to be easy. She's going to have to run a collegiate record to be better than O'Philly. So it's going to be interesting how it plays out. What's good about it is Steiner's not going to cruise to a victory. She's going to be challenged. She may lose, but if she doesn't lose, it means she's running something incredible, which is great for the fans. Anyway, that's my women's 200. But this isn't about the women's 200. This is about the Bowerman Award. Yes, I know the Bowerman Award isn't going to be given out till like December, which is weird the way they do it. If it was me, they would give out the Bowerman Award at USA's. Wouldn't that be cool? 2 weeks after NCAAs, we're at USA's. You have the Thursday night dinner, right, or Wednesday night right before USA's starts. You have the Bowerman Award. That's when you give it out. That's most likely a lot of these athletes are American. If they're not, they'd be invited to come to Eugene. And you have the ceremony. It would be awesome. You have all the pros around. Be a good thing to come to, just celebrating the sport, track and field. Because right now, doing it in December, it's kind of like, oh yeah, remember when Christian Coleman ran that fast time like 6 months ago? That was amazing. But if it was like, remember when so-and-so broke the collegiate record last weekend, and now they're here trying to make their first U.S. team, let's give them a Bowerman Award. So I think they need to do the Bowerman at USA's. But that's for another time. The Bowerman Award, history, it's the Heisman Trophy of track and field. No cross-country counted, unfortunately. I wish cross-country was counted, because if it was, we would have more distance athletes win, because the last time a distance athlete has won a Bowerman, it's been 10 years. 2012, Cam Levins. It's been crazy. We just haven't had any distance runners win it. And there was one, which we'll get into, who should have won it in 2016. But let's take a look at the previous winners. They're all freaking, like, legit names. And even the most recent ones, typically, you look at, like, the Heisman list, they don't become greats until, like, 5 years into their career and become, like, future Hall of Famers. But if you look at the Bowerman list, you just have to go the last year, and you're like, wait, Javon Harrison, two-time makes the Olympics in high jump and long jump. Athing Mo, the freaking Olympic champion, they were the Bowerman winners last year. That's insane. And then you go to next year, 2019, Grant Holloway, freaking the GOAT hurdler. Sha'Carri Richardson, need I say more? You keep going down the list. Michael Norman, he's been great. Couture Orji, top triple jumper. Let's go to 2017. Coleman, world champion. Raven Rogers, I think she's won worlds. I should know this. Oh, crap. I'm sorry. She's a world champion? She's a world champion silver. I apologize, Raven. She's won a lot of medals, and she's day in and day out going to be in the mix to medal in the 800. 2016, we'll get to that. Jerry Lawson, Courtney Okolo. You got Marquise Dendy, Jenna Prandini. 2014, Dion Landora, rest in peace. Laura Raisler, she was an amazing 800-meter runner. It's crazy. You look at Laura Raisler, when she was running the 800, we were like, this is incredible. And ever since she's gone, we had Raven Rogers come in. We had Athing Mo come in. It's been like, the 800's been out of this world on the collegiate side. Go back to 2013, you got Derek Druin, the high jumper, Brianna Rollins, the hurdler. 2012, the last distance runner, Cam Levin with the afro, Kimberly Duncan of LSU. 2011, Makusha of Florida State, Beard of A&M. 2010, Ashton Eaton, the greatest athlete of all time, Queen Harrison, another great hurdler. And then the inaugural award, Galen Rupp, makes sense, Jenny Behringer, now Jenny Simpson, who I believe might be retiring this year. I don't know, but she hasn't run, but it's crazy. She was just in college 2009, 13 years ago now. It's crazy. Time flies. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit about 2016. Obviously, I have an ongoing thing. I feel like the worst thing that ever happened in our sport of track and field, it's not the doping, it's not cheating, it's not upsets, it's the fact that Edward Cheswick did not win the Bowerman in 2016. If you listen to my podcast, if you see all my content, you know I will die on this hill. I will put this on my gravestone that Edward Cheswick deserved the win in 2016. Nothing against Jerry Lawson, great athlete, phenomenal long jumper, was a great spinner in college, but Cheswick deserved it, and they made a mistake. But mistakes happen. And even Donovan Brazier, I mean, he didn't deserve it, but Brazier, he was crazy that freshman year. Remember that? He went pro after? It was crazy. But yeah, Edward Cheswick should have won. But yeah, this isn't about Edward Cheswick. This is about 2022. Those are the athletes we want to talk about. But first, what I want to do is we're like a month and a half out from NCAAs, where we'll have basically an understanding who's going to win the Bowerman. I want to do the Let's Predict Who's Going to Win the Bowerman podcast. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to predict who I think is going to win the Bowerman, and I'm going to do it based on the numbers. So that's time for that. Oh, let's skip over there. First things we need to do is Bowerman has their list of like what the criteria is and how they decide and like what matters. I know what matters. These are the three things that matter. Like, it's only three things that matter. First thing that matters most is, I revealed it all at once. First thing that matters most, NCAA titles. Second most important thing, NCAA records. And the third most important thing, that is just it's the secret part. I call it the Cheswick rule, is outdoors is more important than indoors. For some reason, the voters just get all rose-colored glasses on outdoor season and forget what happened indoor. It doesn't matter if you freaking won 30 events indoor and broke every world record indoor. If you don't do well outdoor, they're going to be like, hey, what have you done for me lately? Outdoor just has a bias over indoor, and that's what I call the Cheswick rule, because Cheswick's indoor triple was 30 times more impressive than Jaron Lawson's outdoor triple. But I digress. So those are the criteria. So what I want to do is I want to kind of see who are the players, who are the potential people who are in the running to win the Bowerman this year. And so what I did is I compiled a list of every NCAA indoor champion from this indoor season, 2022, including relays. I compiled a list of every NCAA indoor record that was set, including like the 300s and 600s, not just the normal events, including relays as well. I also come up with a list of who I'm projecting to win NCAA outdoors this year in all the events, including relays. And if anyone's broken an NCAA outdoor record, like our boy Ilya the Kipsang of Alabama, Favor Ophelia of LSU, broken collegiate records, Cameron Rogers of Cal broke a collegiate record in the hammer. So include them. So I compiled all that information, indoor champs, projected outdoor champs, and people who've broken records indoor and outdoors. And I see who has the most data points. And then I listed it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at who has the most impressive marks, who's going to come out with the projected most titles, the projected most records, and also thinking bias towards outdoors. So let's start with the men. We'll hide the ranking here, but apologize. So, sorry, I'm doing this out on the fly. So in green right now is the current Bowerman watch list. Now, the latest men's Bowerman watch list is actually going up the day after I record this podcast, but regardless. So typically Bowerman announces like, here are the 10 athletes we're watching right now, all based on what they've done lately. So I highlighted in green for you to know who the current voters are eyeing right now. But that's not what's important. What's important is who has the most data. And clearly, Abdi Hamdinur has the most data. He won indoors 3K and 5K, and he's projected to win the outdoor 5K and the outdoor 10K. 4 titles, no records, but 4 titles. That's a good resume against the rest of the men. You go to Ja'Cory Patterson. He actually has 3 notable data points. Problem is a projected 4x4 win, a 4x4 outdoor record, and an indoor 300 record. None of those are individual wins, and none of them are even individual outdoor wins. So the odds of him being in the mix is very rare. You got Brandon Miller. He won 800 indoors. He won the 4x4 indoors, and he's projected to win outdoor 800. Trey Cunningham projected to do the hurdle double. Devontae Burnett right now, again, projected to do the 60-100 double. Garcia Romo projected to do the mile 15 double. Yair Nuguse, no projected wins or past wins, but he has the indoor 3K record, and he low-key had the 2K record. Did you know that Yair Nuguse broke the 2K national record? Did not know that. I don't think the voters are going to care about it, but I had to put it in there. It's a record, and he did it. No one knew about it, but Yair Nuguse broke the 2K record. Then you have Randolph Ross, 400. I could go on, but I listed it all, and you can see like there are people like Moad Zahafi and Micah Williams who Bowerman right now is putting in their top 10, but they have no indoor wins. They have no records, and I'm not projecting either of them to win outdoors, so kind of surprised on the list. But this is the list of everyone. Obviously, there's people who just have a relay or whatever. They're not going to win the Bowerman. But based on this list, sorry, I'm scrolling. Here's how I rank it. I think Abdi Hamdinur is the favorite. I think Brandon Miller is the second favorite. And I think Trey Cunningham is the third favorite. I think this is Nur's race to lose. I think if he pulls off the 5K, 10K, we finally will get a distance athlete to win since 2012, Cam Levins. Rest in peace, Cheserek's 2016 title. So technically I still have the asterisk on 16. But Abdi Hamdinur, if he's able to pull off a 5K, 10K, have 4 wins, I think based off of what other men are doing in this year, it's going to be enough. There's not another sprinter or jumper, hurdler or thrower out there that's doing something impressive enough to really trump 4 titles. Again, assuming Nur gets 4, it's just I'm not seeing it right now. I mean, Cunningham, maybe if he were to break Grant Holloway's record at NCAAs, that could put him over the top because they're going to be like, holy crap, you broke Grant freaking Holloway's record. Like, that would be like incredible. Randolph Ross, maybe if he were to break the outdoor record, but I don't know. They might have a little bit of 400 hangover because, you know, they had the Curleys, the Online Doors, Michael Normans. They keep on giving it to 400-meter guys. They might feel like voter fatigue and go for Abdi Hamdinur. But right now, Nur's in the running, in the lead. I rank him 1, I rank Brandon Miller 2, and I rank Trey Cunningham 3. So that is the men. Women, It's a little bit closer. It's a little bit of like, I don't know what's going to happen because we look at the women and let's take a look at, scroll up, the data. So you look at people who have Abby Steiner. She has 5 data points. Indoor 200 record, indoor 200 title, projected to win outdoor 200, projected to win outdoor 100, and has the indoor 300 title. Jasmine Moore, projected to win 4 titles, long jump, long jump, triple jump, and has a triple jump indoor record. Britton Wilson, who no one is talking about, has the indoor 4x4 record, won the 4x4 indoors, and is projected to win the 400 hurdles. No one's talking about it. Julian Alfred has the relay potential wins outdoors in a 4x1 and 4x4 and has a 60 indoor record. No individual wins, though, so it's going to be hard for someone to vote for her. Grace Stark, the hurdler. Courtney Wayment going 5K, 3K steeple. She does have the loss in the 3K, though, from indoors. Lauren Gregory has the 10K and now the fresh off the 4x15 record at Penn Relays. But the rest of the field, no one is really standing out. Lindsay Butler there in the 800 could potentially pull off a double. Jordy Van Klinken could pull off the shot put discus throw double, a la Maggie Ewan, you know. Anna Hall's a great multi-athlete, but when you really look at this, it's going to come down to 2 athletes, Abby Steiner and Jasmine Moore. And there is a potential who's going to get the 3rd nominee spot. But right now I'm ranking, again, green is who Bowerman currently is saying is in their top 10. But I am currently ranking Abby 1, Moore 2, and Britton Wilson 3. Put some respect on Britton Wilson's name. Ran for Tennessee, transferred to Arkansas. She's a sophomore there. Okay, they won the 4x4. Again, it's not an individual title. I get it. And they have the 4x4 indoor record. I think they're going to end up winning the 4x4 outdoors. Right now, they're not projected to it. Texas is, but I think it's going to happen. 400-meter hurdle outdoor, she's probably going to win. So she'll have an individual title. And I think the Grace Starks and Courtney Wayments, and the Halls, maybe. I think when you look at the totality of Britton Wilson, there's a chance that she could get it. I looked at her T-First page. Let's bring up her T-First page. Again, she transferred from Tennessee. She's run 54.37, and she has a 50.88 400 PB. But 54.37 is pretty good. That's going to win. She hasn't run that well lately. Like, she's kind of fallen off ever since Texas Relays. But, there's time. She only ran a 56.6. She lost to a pro in the 400 hurdles at LSU. I get it. It is a reach for me to put Britton Wilson in my 3rd spot. But I do think she at least deserves to be top 10, according to Bowerman. But the real question is not really who's going to get 3rd. It's who's going to win, Abby Steiner or Jasmine Moore. I want you to let me know, who do you think is better? Who's more likely to win? Who do you think, not more likely, who do you think will win the Bowerman? Again, it's going to require Jasmine Moore to pull off another double. It's going to require Abby Steiner to win the 100 and the 200, which is going to be incredibly difficult, especially the 100. 200, not as much, but the 100, it's going to be hard. I think it's going to happen, but it's going to be hard. And I think if Abby Steiner wins the 100 and the 200, I think you got to give it to her. I just think you do. Because I think she's also going to get the 200 outdoor record. She'll have 3 records, 3 titles. I feel like that's better than 4 titles and 1 record to Jasmine Moore. But I don't know. They did give it to Sha'Carri Richardson recently, so they might have a little sprinter fatigue. But also, they might have a lot of jumping fatigue because they gave it to Couture Orgy. She was a nominee like every year. So there's sprinter fatigue. There's jumper fatigue. There's a lot of fatigue all over the place. But I think right now, if Steiner wins the outdoor 2 and the outdoor 1, I think Steiner will win the Bowerman. And my top 3 will be Steiner, Moore, and Wilson. Back to the men. I'm going with Nur, Miller, Cunningham. Those are my Bowerman projections. 4, 5, 6 weeks out. Write it down. They need to give me a vote. That's what they need to do. Because they need to give me a vote. That's what we need. We need a petition, USTFCCCA. Give Gordon Mack a vote. Hashtag give Gordon Mack a vote for the Bowerman. All right, guys. Thanks. Like, subscribe. Check out all the content. It's going to be wild. And watch some great pro track action this weekend. Continental Tours in Nairobi and Tokyo. We out.